Hello and welcome to my channel, Health and Wellness with Emma Mentel. You would have noticed if you've been following me that there's been a slight change in the name. I decided to swap around. Part of my long fast this weekend, just deciding that maybe it rolls easier off the tongue if I start with a health and wellness. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please share, please comment. Today I'll be sharing with you my journey so far during my long fast. Unfortunately, yesterday I didn't get a chance to update you before I got to the 72-hour mark. So the day before, around 48 hours, I always expect my huge dopamine boost that gives me energy, motivation, a lot of focus. I generally feel really amazing on the third day, but each fast is so different, and sometimes the worst thing that one can do when you're trying something like fasting is to have an expectation. So I prefer to allow more for curiosity and to notice what feels different, to notice what changes, and to then see how this fast compares to others. But I have got a good idea, more or less, what to expect, more or less what to anticipate. But like I say, this fast has definitely been different. I first just want to mention that I wouldn't advise that you jump straight into a 72-hour fast or longer if you haven't done good preparation, if you're not familiar with fasting. So there are some other videos in my channel where you can just get an idea of a 24-hour, 48-hour and longer. So yesterday I had good energy. So that's between the 48 and the 72-hour mark. But I didn't have the euphoria that I usually have. Usually by day 3, I feel so happy, so focused, so full of energy. And I am making use of all my favorite helpers. My mineral drops by 77, or concentrates or trace minerals. I am making use in between of my organic apple cider vinegar. There are different brands that you can try. I like it dark and cloudy. I am having inulin in perhaps a first morning coffee, maybe later. This is inulin by this particular brand. So yesterday I went for an ice bath in the morning. My energy levels were really good, but they weren't exceptional. But it was a normal day. I didn't lie down. I didn't get fatigued. The mineral drops really helped me. So now I am at around 93 hours. So by this evening, it'll be 4 days into my fast. Today, my energy is probably better than yesterday, which is a good shift. Sorry, there's just something in my eye. And my blood glucose when I took it this morning was around 4.7. And just in my last reading, it was 4.9. So still, there are some glycogen stores that my body can use and utilize. So nowhere near anything alarming or where I am running out of steam. And by now, definitely strong ketosis and several waves of ketosis a day. Ketosis is where my body is using fat to make ketones as a fuel. So my brain feels sharp, my energy is good, and my hunger is just about non-existent. So for me personally, the longer I go, the better I feel. What we know about the 72-hour mark of a fast, so that for me would have been last night, is that is really your sort of peak of autophagy, where the body is clearing out any faulty material in the cells, getting rid of any sluggish or faulty components. it's rebooting and resetting on all kinds of levels, and one can definitely feel it. There are some of my fasting participants who get more tired, but with them one's got to perhaps step back, look at their blood sugar, maybe tweak something else. But for me, I always usually get to this point and I feel like I can just go on forever. Partly because my body is used to fasting, and also partly because I definitely still have body fat. So I can make a lot of ketones. I've got that body shape that will adapt to starvation. My body type will adapt to probably a famine very well. It'll just find ways to readjust. So blood sugar is good, energy is good, I slept well, I feel good. But here is one of the aspects of a longer fast that I think is really worth mentioning, especially for those of you who are comfort eaters, or especially for those of you who rely on food sometimes to soothe you, or when you're feeling bored, to make that easier, or to waste some time, or people who feel very stressed and typically would turn to food when things feel uncomfortable. During a long fast, especially for me, going past the 48-hour mark, even more so going past the 72-hour mark, there is nowhere to hide. So because there's very little to suppress or numb like we normally would do in a typical day, things show up. And this is even more amplified because we've got a full moon on the 24th, or in South Africa it'll be on Saturday the 24th. And this particular full moon, I listened to a clip this morning by Michelle McLuhan, who's a fellow South African and friend, and I feel that the things are so aligned. Now I want to mention that I don't plan my fast necessarily around moon phases or any particular date, but what is fascinating is that these things somehow always are synchronistic. Like, we think it's just a coincidence that I am fasting this week before leading up to the full moon, but I think that as I mentioned in one of my other videos, the energies kind of video, that things align. And now we've got, well, I have two factors that are amplifying all kinds of things for me. So one, it's the fact that I'm not eating, so emotions, sensations in the body, my senses are super amplified, super focused. I notice a lot more, I become a lot more in tune. My body does become in a way more sensitive to all kinds of things, but I don't see that as a bad thing. I see that as an opportunity to really find out more. And then we've got the full moon, the second factor that will amplify a whole lot of things. And this particular full moon, really potent. The last 2 weeks have been supercharged with all kinds of things. So I've got this overlap of these two now, and I see that as something that's a gift. It's a gift to me to be having these different layers informing this fast for me. It can get at times super intense. It can get really uncomfortable when emotions like grief show up. But again, it's an opportunity to now review that and to see how I can let that go, how I can process it, how I can find something that's really restorative in the absence of food. So any ritual, anything that's soothing or calming will really be supportive for me at this time. I try not to view fasting, and I don't even have to try. I don't see fasting as a time where I am restricting my body. I don't see fasting at all as a deprivation. So I remain curious. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't get the euphoria yet. When is that going to happen? Maybe only tomorrow. My blood glucose is still good. Wow, okay, maybe I overdid it with the carbohydrates or sugar in the weeks leading up to this fast. So there's definitely still straws, keeping things where they are comfortable and safe and well. So I've mentioned about my trusted helpers, my minerals. I'm tuning into my body, and I'm noticing what is coming up, and all kinds of things are. So I've used a card just earlier from this Tasha Silver pack called Divine Abundance. And I chose this Divine Abundance pack because I thought, I feel like there is so much abundance around me, even in the absence of food. So I looked at the packs that I had available, and this one jumped out at me. And the most beautiful card that showed up for me today, it's like, what should be my focus today? The card is limitless. And this card says, see yourself open to receive in the most miraculous ways. The divine can use anything and anyone. So such a beautiful image. And I feel that this card really gave me such a sense of inspiration for the rest of my fast, because limitless means that there is infinite potential. Limitless means that my body is not in any way at this stage being compromised or limited by the fact that I'm not eating. And this is a great card. So for the rest of today, I'm really going to focus on this message of limitless. I have no limits. There are no restrictions. Nothing can hold me back. There's just this opportunity, and there's just this potential. So I hope that resonates for you, that sometimes we really can tune into something that feels difficult or uneasy or a little bit tricky, and then something like a card or a bit of journaling or reading or listening to something like I listened to that clip can feel like it really motivates us to carry on. So now with my card, the moon coming up, what else is going on? I know that by tomorrow I would normally cook a bone broth to break my fast with, but I'm not sure. I will decide on that tomorrow and tomorrow during the day. So for me this time and with this fast, I'm not putting any deadline on when this fast will end. And I will definitely update a little bit more, maybe later this evening or early tomorrow morning. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you, and a habit or a ritual that I have, especially during a fast, when I go to bed at night, I make a point of really thanking my body. So last night, and it felt even more powerful than the night before, just really going deep within and thanking my body for carrying me so beautifully, for really being so courageous to lean into this, to not feel tempted to break the fast because things around me might have felt difficult or tricky. So I find a great benefit in working with gratitude, but very sincere gratitude, not the kind of superficial, insincere gratitude that is just words, but no feeling in the body. So I put my hand on my heart and another hand on my stomach or my belly, and I just go into a deep sort of gratitude sense of, wow, body, you are amazing. You know exactly what to do. look at you, you know, showing up for life, showing up for the unknown, like not knowing how you're going to feel when you wake up, but somehow knowing that there's this deep inner trust in my body's ability to not just to cope with it, but to thrive and to go with what is showing up, regardless of whether it feels easy or good or not so good. So this is my update, 93 hours in to this week's fast. I will let you know if I decide tomorrow to break the fast or not. I might actually stretch this a bit longer. So this has been an interesting journey for me, and I've really enjoyed this week's tuning into my body. I know on a cellular level at 72 hours, we get a real stem cell reboot. The whole immune system has been reset. So I don't feel at all weakened. If I didn't feel well, I would have stopped the fast. But I know that it's like the whole immune system has now been reset. Even muscles and bones and ligaments, everything feels like it's had a whole reboot and restore. So I look forward to noticing what happens tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and I will chat to you soon about the next stage of my fast.